set your intention for the day, and then just take a few more deep breaths. So I was just saying to Mary Lynn, feels like it's going to be kind of a long winter. So definitely creating practices that are sustainable. I won't mention any names, but there's somebody who does yoga on YouTube that had 2.4 million followers on the first day of a 30-day challenge. And we were down to 52,000 a couple days ago, or maybe just yesterday. Which 52,000 is awesome that those 52,000 are sticking with it, but let's not be like that. Let's keep showing up, right? So on an exhale, pull your low belly in and draw your knees into your chest and hold your shins with the backs of your thighs and just gently rock from side to side. Do that a couple more times. And then go ahead and plant your right foot back down on the mat and hold your left shin or your thigh, being gentle with your knee, but really crunch it toward your shoulder. So getting into that hip flexor, feel that crunch, and then make some circles with your ankle, your left ankle. Nice. And go the other direction with your foot. Maybe even just check in with your right leg and make sure it's still active, that your whole foot is planted on the ground and you're still using your inner thigh. Right? And then if you wanted to, grab hold of your big toe with your right hand, just to see how far your leg will extend. So if that's too much, just hold your shin or the back of your thigh. So kind of be gentle with the low back and the hamstring. Just connecting the hands somewhere to the leg or the foot. Take a couple breaths. And then exhaling, gently release that. And go ahead and plant the left foot down next to the right. And already you might notice a difference in the way one side feels. So lengthen the back of your neck and tuck your shoulder blades together, and then draw your right knee into your chest. Really give it a squeeze. And make some circles in one direction with your ankle. Keep the breath going. You go the other direction with the ankle. Notice where you feel that. And then grab, hold the thigh, the shin, calf, the toe, whatever, and just gently extend that right leg upward. Feeling into that hamstring. And exhaling. Go ahead and plant that right foot next to the left. And we're going to do a couple of bridge poses. So kind of gentle first heart opening, right? So plant your feet, maybe push your palms into the mat, firm up those upper arms, and then lightly on your inhale, lift your hips. And then exhale, drop them down. So do that a few more times, maybe 3 more times. Inhale, lift your hips. Just feel your body get light and long, and exhale, drop them down. So the back of the head is rooted, the feet are rooted, hands are rooted, everything else is light. Inhale up, exhale down. 2 more. And 1 more. And when you drop it down, put the soles of the feet together and just let the knees flop open. And then bring your palms together and your elbows together over your head. So maybe you're gazing up at your thumbs. Right? And just gently push the elbows and the palms together. activating those arm and back muscles. Really push them together. Maybe till they're trembling a little bit. And then on an exhale, just let your arms open up into cactus arms if you can. Take them back down by your side if that's better. Just feel your hips start to open, front body open. A couple of breaths here. And then bring one knee to the other, folding over like a book, right? So that you can push yourself up to seated. So sit however you're comfortable, right? Just start to wiggle your fingers like twinkling stars, right? And then we're gonna fake play the piano a little bit. So in front of you, just set your fingers on the piano chord and play some fake little melody. Just get those fingers moving. Maybe you want to play Beethoven's symphony. Dun, 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 dun. Just go as like firm or as gentle as you want. I was never very good at those scales. Just a few more seconds. Take another breath. I could never get my hands to do the opposite, like two different things at once. If I had two left hands, I probably would have been a better piano player. So go ahead and just shake it out. Oh, we got somebody new here, or somebody got kicked out. Maybe got kicked out. Come on back. Okay, so today we're just going to gently press our thumbs and fingers together one at a time, right? So welcome back. So we're going to just gently press the index fingers together with the thumb, and then the middle finger. Just kind of notice how your other fingers react. And then your ring finger. So a little fun fact about the ring finger. There's a vein that goes from your ring finger directly to your heart called the vena amoris. So amore, love, right? And that's why we wear wedding rings on that finger. And then bring your pinkies and your palms together and your thumbs together. Nice. And then just wiggle your fingers again. Shake them out, shake out the wrists. Good. And then interlace your hands in front of you. We're going to make circles with our wrists. So we did this on Tuesday night, I think. Just go in one direction. So you can get that, the one that's sort of on the bottom, to go complete 360 degrees. So slow down if you need to explore the movement a little more. All right, and then switch hands. Did I lose somebody again? Maybe not. So one side might be easier than the other, or have more range of motion. No judgment, right? That's part of the self-care, is no judgment. Don't attach to the results so much. And then shake them out again. Okay, so let's come right onto our elbows. So I'm going to walk my knees out. So you could either be in a modified low plank on your knees, just as long as your spine is long, your elbows are pushing into the mat, so you're making that space between your ears and your shoulders really, really long. Now on an exhale, if you want, you can lift your knees, pull your low belly in, draw your pelvic floor in, be careful with your low back. Maybe you need to float your knees down. But if you can, be here for 3 more breaths. So come back to that intention you set, spread your collarbones wide. I suspect some of you have already done your low planks today, but that's okay, we can do more. Go ahead and float your knees down. And if you're able to walk your elbows back, take your version of child's pose. So try and find some way to settle. Maybe that's a block under your heels or pillow or under your forehead. And then reach your arms way far out, just gently push your hands into the mat, but then drop one elbow toward the mat and then the other, starting to stretch out those shoulders. So I think I mentioned that I had a massage on Monday night, and oh goodness, it was so good for my shoulders. That's another way you could take care of yourself. Get somebody to give you a massage. Good, come on back to stillness. Reach your arms way far forward so you're really stretching out your armpits. And then gaze at your thumbs. And on an inhale, come on back up. Shoulders over the wrists. So you might need to walk your hands up just a smidge so we can get back in that modified plank, right? We're going to exhale down to the mat, squeeze your elbows in, bring yourself down to the mat. So go ahead and keep your hands on your shoulders and push your tops of your feet into the mat. We're going to do several easy cobras, right? So drop your elbows, tuck your tailbone, and gently inhale, just gazing forward at the edge of your mat. And exhale down. So let's just do that 4 more times on your own breath. Inhale. Up and down. Maybe each one gets a little more expansive. Couple more. Draw your back of the neck up like a swan. Last one. Nice, and then make that pillow for your head with your hands, and just go ahead and rock your hips from side to side. And then reset your legs nice and firm. On the inhale, lift your left heel. So the leg is straight, right? Might only come up 1/4 of an inch. Try and keep the rest of the body long. And exhale that leg down. And then inhale, lift your right heel. So being kind to your sacroiliac joint. This doesn't work for you, just do a couple more cobras. Other leg up and exhale down. And then see if you can inhale both heels up. Relax the head and the jaw. And exhale downwards. Do that 1 more time. Left leg first. Up and down. And then right leg. Up and down. And then both legs. Up and down. And bring your hands back on your shoulders, squeeze your elbows in, reverse your push-up, get nice and strong, pull your low belly in, and exhale back to child's pose. See if this one feels any different. Stretch out that back. One more deep exhale. And then inhale, pull the low belly and come on back to all fours. So grab hold of a block or some other prop that's helpful to bring your left leg forward. So I got this little tip earlier in the week about using paper towels, rolls of paper towels as a block. They're a little bit taller. Now they're not quite as stable, but they'll do the trick, right? So if you don't have a block, that's something you could use. All right, so just rock into that deep, low lunge, right? Feel that hip flexor opening up. So we're gonna do a little bit of a flow here. If you can, curl your back toes under. Keep your shoulders over your hips as much as you can, and inhale, lift your back thigh, keep your hips low. And then exhale down. Let your foot relax again. Really root both feet, and then inhale, take your arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to the mat or back to your prop. You could keep the back toes flat, or you could curl them under, and then you're gonna inhale, lift your hips up and back and draw your toes towards your knee. And then exhale back to our starting position. All right? So if you wanted to really challenge yourself, you could not use your arms, right? You could inhale. Ooh, careful, lift your back knee. Exhale, float down. Push that top foot into the mat, inhaling, arms over your head if you can. Exhale, hands to the mat. Pull your low belly in, inhale, lengthen the spine. More important, keep the spine long and to get the legs straight, and then exhale. Back to that starting position. So if you were a little bit wobbly when you tried that high lunge, walk your front foot out to the side of the mat a little bit and keep your hips really low. So maybe you want to try that again. Maybe look, no hands. Inhale, lift that back thigh. Exhale, float it down. Relax the foot. Inhale, fingertips up in the air. Exhale, hands to the mat. Then inhale, lift your hips up and back. And exhale, back to that starting position. All right, then inhale, take your arms up if you can, right? And exhale, bring your hands back to your heart center. And then bring your elbows shoulder height, and just like we did when we were on our back, push your elbows together and your palms together. Really working those inner arms, back muscles. All right, then if you can, open up and just feel the lightness in your chest. Nice, and exhale back to the mat. We're gonna come to all fours. Just do any motions to rock it out a little bit, right? So maybe you're just gonna wiggle your hips from side to side. Maybe you wanna make some hip circles. If you do hip circles, do it in both directions. Maybe you wanna take a child's pose. A couple breaths just before we go to the other side. All right, so have whatever prop is helpful. And settle in for a few breaths to that low lunge with the right foot forward. This one might feel a little bit different. All right, so then when you're ready, curl those back toes under. Maybe you do the first one holding onto your prop or the wall or a chair, right? You're gonna inhale, stay low, lift that back thigh. Try and keep your shoulders over your hips. Nice. Exhale, float the foot down, push the top of the foot into the mat, root your feet, inhale, fingertips up in the air. And exhale, hands to the mat. Then inhale, lift your hips up and back, draw your toes toward your shin. And exhale. You come back to that intention that you set. Maybe you want to try no hands this time. Inhaling, back thigh up. Exhaling, gently put it back down. Relax the foot, inhale, arms up in the air. Exhale, hands to the mat. Nice, inhale, hips up and back, toes draw back. Nice and slowly, like we're moving through water, exhale. Back to the starting position. One more time. Inhale, engaging all those muscles. Lift the back thigh. Exhaling, float it down. Relax the foot, inhale, gentle back bend. Exhaling, hands to the mat. Remember, you get to decide how hard to work. Inhaling, toes up and back. You're here, you showed up. That's more than half the battle. Exhaling, foot flat. Find your stable base. Once again, we're gonna do that elbow thing, right? So arms up, and then hands to the heart, and then bring your elbows and palms together. So really squeezing everything toward the midline. Relax your brow. Maybe you're just gazing at your thumbs. Push, push, push. And then float the arms open, if you can. Right, and gently exhaling. Come back to all fours. All right, so we're gonna do downward facing dog. If full dog doesn't work for you, come to standing and do it against the wall, right? Or using a chair for your hands. But if you're on all fours, you're gonna walk your hands one hand length forward of your shoulders, curl your toes under, pull your low belly in, and then lift your hips up and back so that you can bring your rib cage closer to your thighs. So more important to have the ribs close to the thighs than it is to have the legs straight. So go ahead and walk your dog. See how it feels. So no judgment here, right? Relax the jaw, maybe nod your head yes, shake your head no, and then come on back to stillness. Check in with those fingers. Maybe press the thumb in, then the index finger, then the middle finger. Make sure they're all spread really wide, then the ring finger. Feel that connection from your vena amoris all the way to your heart, your chest, and then the pinky finger, and all 10 at once. And then look at your thumbs, soften your knees, and safely bring yourself to standing. So if that's bringing one foot forward, knee over the ankle, that works. Or you could just walk yourself in. Right? So if this is okay for you to be upside down like this, hold elbow to elbow. And then just gently swing little arches around the front of your feet from side to side. Then bring your hands to your shins, maybe fingertips under the knees, reach the crown of the head out long and a half forward fold. And then sit down into your imaginary chair. Wiggle the toes so the weight's in the heels. Maybe you keep your hands on your thighs. Maybe you want to take cactus arms. No pain in the low rep back, right? You're still pulling your low belly and dropping your tailbone toward your heels. And then inhale, come to Tadasana. Have your palms meet, maybe overhead, maybe in front of your heart. And take an exhale. Okay, so maybe grab a sip of water before we get moving. We're going to do a big, long sun salutation flow with warrior 1 and some arm variations and warrior 2, maybe even warrior 3. So have a chair or block, paper towels handy, right? So come to the front of your mat, wiggle your toes. Exhale deeply. Inhale and get long. Maybe arms go up in the air, and then exhale, bring your hands to your heart center, gently fold forward. So inhale, come halfway up, fingers under the knees. Exhale, bend the knees. Take your left leg way back in high lunge, front knee over the ankle, and then float that back knee down. All right, so we've been here before, right? You can keep the toes curled under or let your foot relax. Inhaling, fingertips up in the air. And then exhaling, hands to the mat. So this is where you want to have your prop. We're going to lift that back heel and then turn it down and inward for warrior 1. So if you need to shorten your stance by bringing the back foot forward a little bit. The toes are pointing diagonally away from your body. And you might want to walk your front foot out to the edge of the mat a little bit so you have a wider base, so you're not on a balance beam. Right, so then wherever you are, make sure you're nice and stable and bring your hands to your thigh. And really drop down if you can. Push into the outer edge of that back foot. If it bothers your knee, just bring your back heel up. So you're in a high lunge. Right? We're going to take our arms out to the side again. So options here, you can push your elbows and your palms together. Or you could take your right elbow under your left, wrap them, or give yourself a hug. And do eagle arms. So wherever you are, think of drawing everything into the midline. Couple breaths here. Then unfurl your arms. Maybe you want to take them up in the air or not. On your way to reach yourself, spine really long. And we're coming to your version of a plank, so lift that back heel. Maybe you float the back knee down, or maybe you come right to the top of a push-up. Now we're going to exhale, chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows in, bring your body down to the mat. Relax your feet, push the tops of the feet into the mat, inhaling cobra. Or maybe you're ready for something a little deeper. Maybe you come onto your knees for a modified up dog. And then we're going to go right to downward facing dog. So whatever works for you. Go back to the chair or the wall. Take a breath. And then we're going to lift the left leg up in the air. Pull it in toward your chest. And again, bringing yourself safely to high lunge. So maybe that's floating the knees down. Left foot forward. Then lift the right thigh. And we're setting up for warrior two. So the right heel goes all the way down and inward this time so that your right foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. The back side, right? Heel to arch alignment. Make sure you're nice and stable. And then try and use your core muscles and not your hands to bring yourself right up to warrior two. All right? So maybe getting deep into that hip. Settle in. Maybe take your arms outside. Spread your fingers wide. Gaze over your middle finger. Drop your tailbone. And then fold into extended side angle. So today, maybe you want to sweep the tabletop and bring your top arm right over by your ear. So try and take your left ribs. So I'm not your mirror, right? Take your left ribs toward your left thigh so your spine is still nice and long. Couple breaths here. And then we're going to come back to that high lunge. So find your prop and lift your back heel. So you have the option to try warrior three here, right? So you could stay in high lunge, or you could start to walk all your body weight onto that front foot and then lift the back leg so you look like an upside down T. Maybe you want to challenge yourself by doing something different with your hands. Maybe they come to your heart center. Use your drishti, your focal point, something that's not moving. Ooh-wee. So come back to your prop, pull your low belly in, and bring your right foot to meet your left. All right, right back into chair pose. Hands to the thighs. Maybe you want to take cactus arms. And then inhaling, come right back to Tadasana. Maybe through arms up in the air, let your palms meet at your heart. And take a breath. So right away, we're going to lift the left knee for a one-legged balance. So again, go to the wall if it's helpful. So you look like a lowercase h, right? So we're going to do that same thing we did on the ground if you can, with one arm or both. Draw your knee up toward your shoulder. So there's something grounding about connecting your hands and your feet, right? So maybe you want to see if you can grab hold of your big toe, or not, hold your thigh, right? And maybe you want to go a little deeper and take your heel forward. So I'm gonna make sure everybody's nice, beautiful, practicing safely, right? Couple of breaths. And exhaling, come back to that lowercase h. And gently release. And walk it out. Nice. Oh, did I lose Chris again? I wonder how long ago. I wonder why they keep getting bumped out. All right, so we're going to go right to the other side, right? Did they come back? There they are. Okay. All right, so back again. Sorry, y'all, I didn't see how, I'm not sure how long you were out, but here we go, right? Starting on the other side. Inhale, take your arms up. Soften your knees, exhaling, gently dive forward. Inhale, halfway up. Bend the knees, now you're gonna take that right leg way back in high lunge. So we're setting up for warrior one first, right? So maybe you shorten your stance. Maybe you can just turn the toes out diagonally. Walk that front foot out to the edge of the mat if it's helpful. Do whatever you need so there's no pain, right? So you can bring your hands to your thigh, right? And come through cactus arms if you can. Keep pulling that right shoulder forward and decide what you want to do with your arms. So maybe you're pushing your elbows together. Maybe you're giving yourself a hug. It's a good way to take care of yourself. Maybe the left elbow is right under the right for eagle arms. Focus on pulling everything in toward your midline in the arms and the legs. Nice. Shoulders down, belly in. And then we're going to gently release. Make your spine super long as you unfold your arms and lift your back heel, and we're coming to the top of our push-up plank, right? And we exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, pick your back bend, so maybe it's cobra, maybe it's modified up dog on your knees, maybe you cut your toes under, and lift into an up dog, full up dog. Spread those collarbones, and when you're ready, everybody exhale into your version of down dog. Take a couple breaths. And then inhale, lift your right leg up in the air. We're getting ready to go to warrior two, right? So safely set yourself up for warrior two with your right leg in front. Knee over the ankle, heel to arch alignment. Right, and try and use your core muscles to bring your shoulders over your hips. And then go deep. Settle in. So then we're going to sweep ourselves into extended side angle. So forearm to the thigh. Bring your upper arm by your ear. Keep your chest open. So safely transitioning to warrior three, find your prop. Lift your back heel. Stay in high lunge if you prefer for a few breaths, or start to walk your body weight onto that front leg. Back up a little bit. I'm in my plant. I'm going to grab the prop. Right? So it might be completely different on this side than the other. Most important thing is to have your heel in line with your head. So you don't want to let that bottom leg drop. Too much pressure on the low back. Right? So better off to come more to standing than be one long line. So just a couple more breaths. Find your prop, pull your low belly in to safely bring left foot back to meet the right in that chair pose. Take an exhale. Release any tension you might have built. Come to your heels, weight in the heels, elbows back if you can. And then find your Tadasana. Root your feet. Relax your upper body. And we'll get ready for that one-legged balance on the other side. So you're going to lift your right knee. So just like we did laying down, do whatever you can to draw your knee further upward. And then if you want to connect the hand to the foot or the leg somewhere else, use your focal point and your breath. Keep your balance, your core strong. So even here you can think about drawing everything to the midline, upward and inward. And then come back through that lowercase h, nice and controlled. Smile. And exhale, gently release. Nice. So let's just shake it out a little bit, right? Some empty coat sleeves. Okay. We're going to work our quads a little bit. More. So take a wide stance, toes turned out, elbows are further apart than our shoulders, right? You're gonna take your knees right out over your toes for goddess pose. So knees shouldn't go beyond the toes, so if you wanna go a little deeper, take your feet a little bit wider. All right? Just drop way down. Think about the knees going to the back side of the body. Cactus arms if it works. Maybe your fingers pointing towards your ears this time, or your palms towards your ears. Inhale, lift the left heel. Exhale, put it down. So the heel, not the toe. The toes stay connected. Inhale, lift the right heel. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, lift both heels. And exhale, release. We're gonna do that 2 more times. You can rest your hands on your thighs if you prefer. Inhale, lift one heel. Put it down. Inhale, lift the other heel. Put it down. Inhale, lift both heels. And release. One more time. Inhale. Lift one. Release. The other. Release. Both. Release. Sit down a little deeper. And then inhale. Extend your legs. Turn your toes forward. So 5-pointed star. Just take up as much space as you can. Tailbone still dropping down, jaw soft. And then exhaling, bring your hands to your heart. And heel toe your way back in. Not quite as close as hip width apart. Maybe shoulder width, right? A little bit wider than shoulder width. Wiggle your toes. Sit down into your heels, rest your hands on your thighs. Then you're gonna inhale, get really long, reach the crown of the head out. Firm up your quadricep muscles. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see me. Right? Doesn't really matter which knee you soften first, but soften one knee. And then rotate your rib cage toward the extended leg. Maybe you hold your thigh or your shin. So push into the big toe mound, really get into that IT band from maybe underneath the knee up the hip. So then we're just gonna play around with the weight in our foot a little bit. So bring your weight toward the big toe ball of the foot. And exhale, slowly and gently draw it back toward the inside of your heel. Super tiny motion. Then take it to the outside of the heel. And then toward the pinky toe. So just moving the weight around to notice where you feel it in your leg. Opposite knee is still soft. Most of the body weight's on the straight leg. Maybe you want to take the circle in the other direction. When you finish your circle, bring your hands back to your thigh. Drop your hips just so that you can bring your heart above, your head above your heart a little bit, right? So we're not staying upside down too long. You've got your equilibrium back. Lift your hips, extend the spine out long again, slightly bend the other knee, load your body weight into the extended leg and take your ribs toward that thigh. And gently play around with that itty bitty circle, shifting your body weight around the foot. And maybe go the other direction. Then once again, coming back to center, drop your hips again, bring the head above the heart a little bit. So here's an opportunity to challenge yourself if you want, right? You might want to come in, turn your toes out a little bit and come into a Malasana squat. Again, being gentle with your knees. So if this doesn't work for you, come back to Tadasana, take a couple breaths, close your eyes, right? So if you've gotten into Malasana squat, maybe you want to challenge yourself, try an arm balance. Remember, it's just a journey. You don't have to do any of this. No judgment. Maybe you tuck your knees into the top of your arms. Right, so wherever you are, we're going to safely meet in Tadasana. Reach the crown of the head out long. And come on back up. heel toe your way in to maybe 2 feet, 2 fist widths apart, or maybe you want to bring your big toes together and have your heels about 1 inch apart. So we're going to do some standing side stretch, half moon, right? So you might want to take your arms overhead. You don't have to, right? You keep your hands on your shoulders, hands on your hips, whatever works. Or you could interlace your fingers and release your index fingers. Get really, really tall. Exhaling, fold to one side. Really open up that top shoulder. You could gaze forward, or you could gaze a little more upward. Root those feet. So maybe you're pulling on that top arm. Open up that shoulder. Inhale and come on back up to center. So reset yourself, get really, really tall. And then exhale, go the other direction. So come back to the front of your mat. Inhale and get tall. Exhaling, fold. Just bringing ourselves down. We're going to do some quad stretches, right? So we worked our quads. Now we're going to give them a break. So inhale, come halfway up. Bend the knees. Come back to right foot back. So your left leg is in front, high lunge, and then low lunge. Knee right over the ankle, okay? So if it doesn't work for you to stretch your quad in a low lunge, like if it bothers your knees, or then lay on your side and just grab a hold of your foot or use a strap with your foot, right? So you can just lay on your side and do the same thing, make the same motion with your leg. But if you're able to reach for that back heel, you can grab a hold of a block, strap, whatever, to help you. All right. Just again, open up that front body. All right. Couple more breaths. So exhaling, gently release. And come on back to all fours. And maybe make some circles with those hips again, right? Like we did in the beginning. So we're going to quad stretch on the other side, right? So right foot forward or lay on your right side. This leg might be different, right? Might have to do something different, but if you can, grab hold of that quad or foot and stretch that quadricep. So just starting to settle and soften. Couple more breaths here. When you're ready, exhaling, gently release. Once again, come on back to all fours. Circle those hips if it feels good. And then exhale back into child's pose. Find some place to get comfortable. So if you prefer to roll onto your back and just draw your knees into your chest, we'll get there. We'll meet you there soon. Right. If you're in child's pose on your legs, bring yourself back to all fours. Flip your feet around so that you can sit down on one hip, swing your legs forward. If you want to do a little core exercise, take 8 or 10 counts to roll yourself down, if it's okay with your spine, onto your back. So here we go. Pull your low belly and keep your chest light. 3, 2, and 1. Let everything go. Nice. And then draw your knees into your chest. Right, so here we are. You're going to take your heels toward the ceiling. Keep your knees bent. If your hamstrings are tight, and we're just going to scissor our legs a little bit. So drop one heel to the mat and then switch. Do that a couple more times. See if you can keep the upper body really soft, right? Shoulders, neck, jaw. So maybe one more set. And then gently draw your knees into your chest again. So we're going to finish with some nice, juicy poses, a spinal twist or two. So go ahead and stretch your right foot out on the ground. Stretch that leg all the way out. And then plant your left foot on top of your right thigh. So again, keeping that connection, keep your right hand on your left knee and roll yourself over onto your right side. So we're using that right hand for a little bit of leverage. Then you're going to peel the left side of your body back, maybe even taking the arm out to the side. Maybe even turning your nose toward your left hand. So keep the body soft. Let the left knee drop toward the floor. And feel that rotation from the waist all the way up through the rib cage. And you might even need to adjust your shoulders. Several deep breaths here. So just do what's best for your body. Definitely no judgment. I did a bike workout yesterday with a virtual, and the teacher was talking about letting stuff go that doesn't serve you. She's even talking about letting people go that don't serve you, and she was making these comments like, you know, if you get that text message from a person that just makes you mad or angry or feel bad about yourself, just let them go. And I thought, I don't have anybody in my life that does that, and I'm so grateful. I'm definitely my worst critic. So if you're that way too, no more judgment. When you're ready, pull your low belly in. Slowly and gently draw that left knee back toward your shoulder. And bend the right foot, plant the right foot on the ground, and bring the left foot to meet it. So maybe lifting your hips, adjusting your hips a little bit. They might have gotten a little bit out of line. Take a breath. And when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. So stretch the left leg out, right? And then take the right foot, put it on the thigh. See if you can get the left hand to find the right knee. And then roll over onto your left side. So when you get the legs nice and heavy, start to peel the right side of your body back, ribs toward the mat. Maybe the arm comes out to the side. And settle in. So these restful, nourishing poses are just as important, right? One more deep exhale, maybe even exhaling out through the mouth. And then pull the low belly in so you can roll back onto your back and draw that right knee toward your shoulder again. Bend the left foot flat on the ground. Bring the right foot to meet it. Adjust your hips so you're back in line by doing a little bridge pose. And then come right back to where you started. Tuck your shoulder blades together. Take a breath. So if there's another pose you'd like to finish up your practice with, maybe it's Happy Baby, where you draw your knees in and grab hold of the outside of the feet, and then bring your feet over your knees so that your shins are parallel. Maybe you want to do a plow pose, which is or a shoulder stand or a headstand. Pick something to finish up your practice. Maybe it's staying right where you are. about 5 more deep breaths. And then you're going to settle into your Shavasana, most important pose of all, the one that takes the most courage, right? Maybe you're going to stretch your legs out in front of you. Maybe you're going to put your legs up the wall. Maybe recline, bend, angle soles of the feet together, knees flop open. Cover yourself up with a blanket if you like. We're going to be here just a couple minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. So wherever you are, I invite you to slowly and gently come back to that starting position. So your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Root your elbows and take your arms, your hands up in the air, and then just gently press index finger to thumb, middle finger to thumb, ring finger, vena amoris to thumb, pinky to thumb, and wiggle your fingers a little bit. You might want to take a big long morning stretch, or just simply roll yourself to one side. So you're going to rest in the embryo pose, getting ready to begin again, maybe cradling your head in your bottom arm. I'm going to read you that Susie Kassem poem again. Laugh, I tell you, and you will turn back the hands of time. Smile, I tell you, and you will reflect the face of the divine. Sing, I tell you, and all the angels will sing with you. Cry, I tell you, and the reflections found in your pool of tears will remind you of the lessons of today and yesterday, to guide you through the fears of tomorrow. So when you're ready, pushing yourself up to seated, maybe holding onto your knees, lifting your chest a little bit, then maybe hollowing out into that cat shape, just noticing how your spine feels, and then come right back to neutral. Push your palms together at your heart, inhaling deeply. Exhaling, bow your head to your own heart with a congratulations for continuing to show up. I'm grateful for you all. The spirit in me honors the spirit in each of you. Namaste.